Hello, my name is Ellie de la Cruz. We've all experienced drivers in Arizona that can't handle certain stressful situations, and we can tell that they weren't taught how to respond to these situations that they hadn't been tested on. Today we're asking, how should students go about getting the proper information for driving, and how does the state support these student drivers? This is Spotcast. I am here with my guests Jarod,
Hello.
Edgar,
Hi.
Anna,
Hello.
and Trevor.
Hi there.
So the first question we're going to ask is, should we limit the type of cars new/teen drivers can drive?
I think they should because most parents won't be giving the kids the car they are testing in, so they wouldn't know how to drive it.
I have a bit of an opposite opinion than you, Jarod. I actually think that it doesn't really matter. I know most families can't afford to just give their kid a new car, at least people around my neighborhood. And because of that, they end up using the family car, which really can be anything from an SUV to a small Mini. So it doesn't really matter to me. All cars can kill, so it doesn't really matter the restrictions of it.
I kind of agreed with Edgar. I'd say no, it does not. It should not matter, because if the car, like he said, any car can kill. So really, it depends how much knowledge the driver has of the car. So really, it's the driver that can cause an accident.
It really depends on how dangerous the car is, like how difficult it is to drive, like how you need a special license to drive a semi-truck. I feel like that's more fair.
Another question would be, should people with mental and physical disabilities be able to drive at all? Who would like to answer this one?
I'll go first. I feel like they should be allowed to drive as long as it doesn't affect their driving capabilities. But once it starts to affect how well they can drive and if they can drive safely, they should not be allowed to drive any longer.
On top of that, I also think that they shouldn't be allowed to drive unless they can have like a sort of med or they can overcome that.
I agree with him, but if they can have certain situations where like they need medication, I would suggest that they have someone with them. So if they're going to go get more, they can always be safe because someone has like control.
I don't feel like people should rely on medication for these kinds of things, because not everyone is going to have money to pay for these, and if they run out, then that's a liability. That's very bad.
Another question would be, should Arizona update the driving test, and how frequent should they do this?
I feel like they should update it whenever there's a new type of accident or problem, or if there's a new kind of situation going on, as if there's a new rule isn't being followed. That rule should be put in the test more or be tested for more.
I believe that the driving test should be changed whenever there's a new law, because if our driving test that lets people drive isn't up to date with the actual driving laws, then what's the point of it? Because we're just having people learn what we used to need, not what we need now.
Let's see. Another question would be, what should be the golden rule for Arizona driving tests?
I think that one of the golden rules for the Arizona driving test would be teaching teenagers and people that have recently came to the state how to drive on freeways. Most teenagers, when they get their permit or driver's license, don't actually know how to drive on a highway or an interstate, so it can make it very difficult to learn how to maneuver yourself when you're in a car with a bunch of traffic.
I like that idea, but I also think they should test at every place how to do parallel parking, 3-point turn, and driving a stick and automatic car.
I'd actually to throw a little thing in there. On the topic of dangerous driving with what Anna said, I feel like downed lights should also be something that people are taught. Because in Arizona's monsoon season, there's a lot of instances where our lights go down and the police officers haven't gotten there yet to actually start directing traffic. So I feel like they should always be educated on how to get through a downed light without a police officer there.
One more question and then we'll wrap up. When should people retake the driving test, both written and just driving?
I feel like they should take it every 10 to 15 years because it's a shorter period of time for them to get used to their habits. And if they take it within that time, they'll kind of learn to not get used to their habits so much. And
Do you guys all agree with this?
I feel like it should be about 10 years, but I feel like after they hit a certain age, let's say 60, they shouldn't have to do the physical test anymore, just the written one, because after driving for that many years, you know most of the driven laws by heart. You just may need a refresher on how to cross a light every now.
The theoreticals. Makes sense. That about does it for today's episode. We thank you, the viewers, for watching, and thank you, Jarod,
you're welcome.
Anna,
Anytime.
Edgar,
Not a problem.
and Trevor for your time.
Thank you.
I am your host, Ellie de la Cruz, and this has been Spotcast.